Okay, so have you ever had that feeling, where your trusty SQL skills, the ones that got you here, maybe feel a bit, well, limited in the whole Azure data space now?
Oh, definitely. That feeling is pretty common these days. The landscape in Azure, it's just evolving so quickly.
Exactly. And well, that's what we're going to dive into today. Our mission really is to unpack what skills you really need now, the ones that go beyond just SQL if you want to, thrive with Azure data.
Yeah, consider this the essential guide to what matters now.
We've seen this shift towards these big integrated platforms too, right? Like Microsoft Fabric.
Absolutely, and that's a huge part of it. Fabric isn't just another tool, it's pushing a whole different way of thinking about data projects.
Okay, but let's be clear. Nobody's saying SQL is dead or that Azure Synapse SQL pools are suddenly irrelevant.
No, no, not at all. They're still incredibly important. They are the workhorses, especially for classic data warehousing and BI reporting. You still need that foundation.
Right, that foundation. But it sounds like the sheer amount of data and all the different kinds of data we're seeing, it just demands more now.
That's the key. The scale, the complexity, the variety, it's pushing the boundaries of what SQL alone can handle efficiently.
Which brings us to Apache Spark, I guess. That name comes up constantly.
It does, and for good reason.
Uh,
Spark is basically built for processing huge data sets distributed across many machines. It's
hmm.
particularly good with data that isn't, in neat rows and columns.
Like log files or social media stuff.
Exactly. Semi-structured, unstructured data. And it's critical for large-scale data transformations, what we often call ETL, and prepping data for machine learning models.
Okay, so knowing about Spark is one thing, but what specific skills within Spark are valuable? Like, what should people actually learn?
Good question. Knowing how to write code using PySpark, that's Python for Spark, or Spark SQL, is fundamental.
Right.
But beyond the syntax, you really need to understand Spark's core concepts. Things like data frames, think of them as intelligent distributed tables. And understanding lazy evaluation. It's a bit counterintuitive at first.
How so?
Well, Spark doesn't actually do the work the moment you tell it to. It builds up a plan, like a recipe, and only executes it when you ask for the final result. It's very efficient, but you need to grasp it.
Ah, okay. Like planning all your errands before leaving the house.
Exactly like that. And finally, performance tuning. Knowing how to configure Spark jobs so they run quickly and don't cost a fortune, especially at scale, that's a really valuable skill.
Got it. So Spark tackles the big, messy data processing. What about actually moving data around and, making sure all these steps happen in the right order? Is that data factory and Synapse pipelines?
Precisely. Think of Data Factory and Synapse pipelines as the orchestrators. They let you build, schedule, and monitor these complex data workflows.
Workflows meaning.
Moving data from source A to system B, maybe transforming it with a Spark job in the middle, then running a SQL script to load it into a warehouse, all automatically.
So they're like the conductors of the data orchestra.
That's a great way to put it. They handle the dependencies, the scheduling, the error handling. You need people who can build reliable, dynamic pipelines. They're really the backbone of a modern, enterprise-grade data architecture in Azure.
Okay, so we have SQL for the foundation, Spark for the heavy lifting and complex data, pipelines for the orchestration. Now let's circle back to Microsoft Fabric. You said it's a game changer. How does it fit into the skills picture?
Fabric aims to unify all these different pieces. Its core idea is this concept called one lake, basically, a single logical data lake for the entire organization. So understanding how to design solutions for one lake is becoming critical.
A single data lake, that sounds ambitious.
It is, and it enables new things like direct lake mode in Power BI.
What's that?
It lets Power BI query the data directly in one lake in the Parquet format without needing to import or duplicate it first. It can make reporting much, much faster and simpler, less data movement, faster insights.
Ah, working with the data where it lives.
Exactly. So skills related to Fabric involve understanding one lake architecture, leveraging things like direct lake, knowing how to organize your workspaces and artifacts effectively within Fabric.
And governance, with everything in one place, that seems important.
Crucial. Understanding how Microsoft Purview integrates with Fabric for data governance, security, and compliance is non-negotiable on a unified platform. It's not just learning a new tool. Fabric really requires adapting to a more integrated way of working.
Okay, this paints a pretty clear picture. So let's think about the practical side. If you're, say, leading a data team right now, what does this mean for hiring?
It means you absolutely need to look beyond just strong SQL skills. You need engineers who understand Spark, who can build robust pipelines in Data Factory or Synapse, and who grasp how to leverage Fabric's integrated nature.
Why? What's the payoff?
Faster time to insight, much better automation, and the ability to scale solutions cost-effectively. You can tackle more complex problems.
And what about for individuals? The data engineers, the analysts, the aspiring architects?
For them, this is a huge opportunity. Learning Spark, mastering data orchestration tools, getting comfortable with Fabric in OneLake. These skills open doors.
Doors to what?
To more senior engineering roles, definitely. Paths towards data architecture become clearer. And it positions you perfectly for working on more advanced projects, like those involving machine learning. It's about future-proofing your career in the Azure ecosystem.
Makes sense. It's about adding more tools to your toolkit, becoming more versatile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Becoming that T-shaped professional, deep in some areas, but broad across the modern data stack.
So a final thought for everyone listening then. As you look at this evolving landscape, maybe take a moment and think, beyond SQL, what's the one new skill area, maybe Spark, maybe pipelines, maybe Fabric, that feels most critical for your next step in Azure data?
That's the key question to ponder. Where do you need to focus your learning next?
Definitely food for thought. Keep exploring, keep learning. This Azure world certainly isn't standing still.